Thanks very much for joining us. Your reaction to the president's agenda, and we want to get your thoughts on what can get done, if anything, in the next 7 weeks, Congressman.
Well, good morning, Maria. Yes, of course, the president's agenda is overwhelming. He's done an outstanding job for the past 2 years, whether it's on the domestic front or the international front. He has stayed so busy. Now that he's off of the campaign trail, he's going to Paris. I think it's going to be a robust agenda. We need to continue to keep America going in the right direction. And what I mean by that, keeping taxes low, regulations low, and to avoid some of the distractions that I think some of the Democrats now are trying to look at in terms of investigations. The American people want us to govern. They want the country to move forward, and that's where I think we need to go. In regard to the next 7 weeks, I will be back next week working hard. It's going to be interesting. This will be a lame duck session, and I think we can accomplish some things in the House. We've got to, on the spending side. I'm a member of the House Appropriations Committee. We've got to get that done for the good of the country. So I hope we have a productive 7 weeks.
Hey, Chuck, this is Jason Chaffetz. It was a pleasure and honor.
Jason, how are you?
It was good. It was a pleasure and honor to serve with you. This is one of the hardest working members in Congress. He pours his heart and soul into it, and so I'm glad to be on here with you. The question, though, is you have to pass a spending package, I believe, by the first week of December. Is there any chance that there's any cut in spending, or is Congress going to continue to pour gasoline on this fire and spend as much as it has?
Well, Jason, thank you for the question. I appreciate your great service, Chairman, in the House. It was a pleasure to serve with you. I think the American people want us to get the spending package wrapped up. As you know, when we broke the controls of the Budget Control Act and broke the sequester for 2 years, that opened up the opportunity to fund defense, to get that done, and then to address what we felt were our national domestic priorities. There are differences between Republicans and Democrats. For example, I represent Oak Ridge, and we have tremendous federal assets up there that need to be funded and the like. But there are a few bills left. We've passed this, obviously, to December. I don't think the American people want to shut down. Now, one thing that's going to be important is funding for the wall. I have supported on the Homeland Security Appropriations Committee funding for the wall. The president wants funding for the wall. So there could be some issues that come up that impede the process, but by and large, I think we'll get it done.
So do you think that funding is going to be, is the funding for the wall going to be in the package in December?
I think we're going to try. I think we're really going to try. Again, the problem could always be what it's been before, the United States Senate. One of the things that really frustrated me, as you know, we worked hard in the House, promoted President Trump's agenda, worked hard to get things done, passed a lot of bills. They were impeded time and time again in the Senate because of the numbers, not necessarily because of anything our majority did, but because we didn't have 60 votes. So again, we don't have 60 votes in the Senate. I think you'll see the House getting it done, and we just hope the Senate gets it done.
Well, the administration changing the rules for asylum seekers, limiting when and where they can apply for asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border, as an appeals court says that the president can't end DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Congressman, where are we now then in this? Do you think anything gets done with this new Congress in the new year on immigration?
Well, thank you for that question. And of course, unfortunately, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has traditionally been very liberal, very far left, and has been overturned even in prior years by the Supreme Court, by less conservative Supreme Courts. So while that is a little bit of a setback, I think ultimately the High Court, the United States Supreme Court, will reverse the Ninth Circuit on this and other issues. So I'm not unduly concerned about that. On immigration, I think we're going to have to look at it from a practical standpoint, from a policy standpoint, and of course there are always political implications to this, but that problem is not going to go away. The caravan is coming. It needs to be stopped. So I think as Americans, now that the elections are over, we've got to get back to governing. So
well,
that's
Nancy
where I think we
Pelosi potentially is the next speaker. Here's what she said about immigration just last night.
We have to protect our borders. Our responsibility is to protect and defend. We take an oath when we get sworn into office to protect and defend. We have to protect in a way that protects our borders and honors our values, and also recognizes there are 11 million people in this country that we have to address in terms of legalization and perhaps a path, and I believe a path to citizenship.
I feel like I'm having a deja vu because I heard this before, Congressman.
Yes. Well, and it's going to be interesting to see what the new majority is going to do. First of all, I think they're going to have problems internally.
Yeah.
They've elected people from all over the left side of the spectrum, mild left, mid-left, and super far left. So I think if Speaker Pelosi, if she's going to be Speaker, wants to be able to get anything accomplished, she's going to have to realize she's going to have to work with a robust Republican majority. She's got a razor-thin majority. She's going to have a Republican Senate. And, of course, Donald Trump will be a strong Republican leader in the White House. So if she sets the tone for wanting to work with Republicans to get things done, that's going to be one thing. If she goes off to traditional left-wing causes, she's going to be impeded and she's going to be beaten.
All right, we will leave it there. Are you going to vote for Kevin McCarthy to be the minority leader?
Yes. I am. I spoke with Kevin earlier, whether or not he was going to be Speaker or Majority Leader, or Minority Leader. So I've worked with him in the past. I think he's done a good job. We have leadership elections next week. So that's how I'm going to vote. There are a lot of other votes out there. But I think our minority now is going to have to sit down, get back to work, get back to good fundamental conservative basics, and work forward.
Congressman, thank you. Chuck Fleischmann joining us there.
Thank you.
Stay with us. PPI coming up.